everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood French Canadian. I hope you're having yourself a great Saturday morning. I haven't even finished my cup of coffee, but I really wanted to talk about this issue. I've been thinking about it for a while and I feel like it would make a really great video to just talk about what happened here. So there was a pro tournament, an official pro tournament for Mortal Kombat 11 a few days ago. They call it Pro Competition, and one particular pro player was banned because of a specific variation name, because apparently it was offensive. And now let's talk about the term offensive. When we use that term, we mean that it usually hurts someone or a group of people and that they were targeted specifically, right? And that it hurts them personally. The dictionary definition says causing someone to feel deeply hurt, angry, or sad. Now, what was this offensive variation name, you say? It was Why Did NRS Do This? That's it. Now, can anyone tell me down in the comments what is offensive about that phrase exactly? Obviously, the answer would be absolutely nothing and nada, zilch, zero. It makes no freaking sense. Now, the pro player that was disqualified from the entire tournament after almost making it to top 8 is Titaniumtigerzz. Now, I've known this guy for a while, you know, I've talked to him, I've played against him, got my ass wrecked, and although he's still very young, it's not like he's someone who's specifically looking out to hurt anyone or be mean to anyone. I just don't see that he's that kind of guy, right? He's just a dude who likes to play fighting games and is really good at them, and also has a really whack sleeping schedule. But there is nothing offensive about Why Did NRS Do This? Now, I want to show you guys the clip of what happened and their quote-unquote explanation of why he was disqualified, and then we'll talk more about what that quote was actually referring to, right?
So unfortunately, looks like we have a little problem here, and someone is being.
Situation.
We got a situation. I don't know what we can publicly say, but we definitely have a situation here, and
Let's go with
we're
that.
gonna have to cut away from the match. So just bear with us. We're gonna get everything sorted out, and hopefully we'll have a statement for you soon. But
okay, so I'm going to stop it there because there's something after that I really want to talk about. But first, so this quote was specifically Tigerzz talking about why they buffed Shiva so much. So if you guys don't know, Shiva with customs, it can now have fireballs and the stomp which was buffed and is so hard to avoid now. It's like pretty ridiculous. But you'll see in this video that Crispy Fungus, the player who Tigerzz was playing against, was avoiding it very well with the Kano Ball. But of course, if they delay or whatever else, then it becomes a little more difficult to pull off. So when Tigerzz was saying why did NRS do this, he was talking about specifically why did they buff Shiva so much, and he was using Shiva to prove a point. But again, I don't see anything offensive about that. I really don't understand. It kind of boggles my mind because NRS aren't the type of people to get super offended about this stuff, because they've always been really playful with their pro players and the rest of their players. I remember an instance back in 2019, like during the first MK tournament, I was watching one of them on Twitch and I said in the chat, when are you guys going to buff Kano? Because if y'all remember, Kano was really bad at the beginning of the game. And then an actual NRS developer replied to me and said, we'll buff Kano once we get you to a major. So a major tournament in the Mortal Kombat scene. And I feel that Tigerzz is saying that why did they buff Shiva so much is the same type of thing that when I said that when are you guys going to buff Kano, right? But there's two ways to go about it. You can be playful like they did back then and joke about it, right? Or you can just go ahead and disqualify a pro player for no good reason. And it's kind of funny, like, were they trying to keep us from seeing how stupid Shiva is now? Let's be honest here, if you're playing Combat League, you've encountered plenty of Shivas, especially in counter picks, where all they did was stomp and that overhead kick, right? Please raise your hand if that happened to you, because it happened to me. But I have a secret weapon, and she's called Melina. And her teleport kick bodies the freaking hell out of Shiva Stomp. But what were they really trying to do? Because did their feelings get hurt? Absolutely not. Did they just not want Broken Shiva to win a tournament? Then why did they do that? Like, his question is still very valid. Why did they make Shiva so freaking broken? But then when someone plays her in a tournament and talks about how broken she is in a tournament variation without using strong language, without using explicit words, how is that offensive? How is that ban worthy? So did NRS say anything about this? Nope. Nothing. We got a Kotaku article about it even, and still no word from NRS. The only indication that we have to think about why NRS did this, why they banned Tigers, is actually in the commentary for that tournament. So I'm gonna have you guys listen to it and we're gonna talk about it.
Crispy Fungus, who's going to be advancing. Again, guys, we're getting the updates slowly but surely. Everybody's on it. We got the team, just like we have the team of admins and mods to, help smooth out everything through brackets. We also have it here, and it looks like Crispy Fungus is going to be moving on. This is unfortunately, you guys have to all abide to the rules. And it looks like it's going to be Titaniumtigerzz who is disqualified from tonight's top 8, tonight's tournament. So that's very unfortunate, but rules are rules. Everybody's got to be respectful. You gotta really. That's all I can say. You got to be respectful, and just mind what kind of info you're putting out there. What kind of person you're saying you're being.
So they're talking about respect and how what Tigers did was somehow disrespectful towards NRS. And he even goes on to say that you have to be careful about the information you put out there, about what kind of person that you want to be. So it seems to me that NRS wants us to believe that Tigers is on his villain arc and that he's a loose cannon and that he hurt everyone at NetherRealm Studios, which is completely false. No one's feelings were hurt here. This was just a case of someone up in management, high up in management, like we'll never know who, but it's a case of someone who got angry about the criticism, which in my opinion is 100% fair, and decided to put a pin in it so that they wouldn't have to deal with it. But here's the thing, when you do something like that, when you abuse your power and you unjustly ban someone from a tournament, people are gonna talk about it way more. As I mentioned before, it even made its way in a Kotaku article. Like, non-gamers read that stuff, like people who would have never known otherwise and now know the issue because it's in this mainstream article. I'm sorry, but y'all done fucked up really bad. And perhaps because a lot of us know Titaniumtigerzz, he's kind of the troll, he'll mirror match people in tournaments, but he's just a really good player and he never really does anything that would be considered harmful to the community or even to NRS developers, So to me, this entire issue is freaking ridiculous and it makes zero sense. Zero. I'm super disappointed not only by how NRS reacted to this criticism, which wasn't even hurtful in the first place, and then said nothing about it, not a freaking word. The only reason we have some information is what the commentators were saying, and even then they said we can't say much about it. Like, they were trying to keep this whole thing under wraps, but while doing that, while trying to keep this control, it got out of control. Everyone knows about it, everyone is memeing about it on Twitter. There is no escaping this. NRS is going to have to make a statement specifically outlining the quote-unquote rules that Titaniumtigerzz broke. Because right now, I don't see any rules that have been broken. But again, if you go in a combat league and you play people and they can have offensive terms like these in their variation names, it's all fine and dandy. Ain't no one talking about it. There will be a picture for context because I am not going to read out what it says. And then the community manager talks about how they're working on it. But here's the thing, in Mortal Kombat 11, if you try to put any kind of words like ass or shit or any offensive, quote-unquote offensive words in a variation name, it will tell you you cannot use offensive language in there. But why is this that the specific term here, which we see in big bold letters, is not considered offensive or it hasn't been blocked out? It literally makes no sense. Obviously there is a big disconnect here somewhere where being a racist is not offensive, but criticizing NRS for buffing Shiva is offensive. And that is the whole problem here. How can they act all high and mighty and say that this was offensive when in their game you can use racist terms and variation names and go online and play and people will see this? But to them that is not a big issue. But they banned someone for the variation name. Why did NRS do this? Seriously, NRS, everyone wants to know why in the world did you do this? So guys, please let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comments. I am really curious to see what you think, if it was really offensive or not in your own opinion. But I feel really bad for Tigers, and I really hope that NRS is gonna put out a statement soon because it's looking worse and worse every day. So everyone, thank you so much for sticking with me and watching. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all very soon.